Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
So, how's it going?
It's going all right.
It's been a minute. We haven't got to catch up much lately.
Should have stayed home. I got like a sinus infection thing going, but other than that,
you're good.
Yeah, I got a. I don't know what I got last week. I felt kind of off a little bit, and then it got better, and then this week I started noticing my cheek was just like sensitive. I thought I was just being a wuss, and
so did Laura.
Yeah, normally.
But he's got the man flu again.
Yeah, so now it's like definitely some kind of sinus shit going on. I took some Sudafed, and it helped. The problem with Sudafed is it keeps you up at night, so you gotta take Benadryl or something to knock yourself out. And you wake up. I was like up at like 3 o'clock, just wide awake. Like, okay, what am I gonna? Yeah, it was rough.
They keep that stuff behind the lock counter up there.
Yeah, and all the meth labs use that to build something. They do something with that stuff.
Allegedly.
You would know. You ask your neighbor.
Yeah, no kidding. Man, we even went out to dinner last night, and I bumped into one of our neighbors, probably 6-7 houses down, and they're like, how's that situation going? My good Lord, they just moved from one property. Now they've taken over another one. I mean, it's motorhomes all over that are half tore apart for scrap copper, whatever it is they're looking for, man. One of their dogs was over at the neighbor's house today.
They probably got some Sudafed. I could be like, hey, get another box of Sudafed I could buy from you.
I swear between for the last, I'm going to say, well, I've been here a long time. I don't even want to try to do the math. But, when all the dope growing was real big, the cartel was trying to buy water from us. And now we got these tweaks that are just it's ruining a great neighborhood other than that, but now they've got 2 residences. So it's like, holy crap, man. People today. It's nuts. Yeah. But they probably know what to do with that Sudafed. If you want to find out, I'll ask them next time they're walking by.
I know they do something with it. I don't know what. I don't really care, but blow
I know it makes it a pain when I got to go pick up Sudafed.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for making my life rough.
You feel like a druggie. You're like trying not to itch. Like, oh man, I got an itch on my back and my neck.
Yeah, you don't
want
to do it. Yeah, and you got to act like super calm and cool. And I look sketch walking in there anyway with this big beard. They're not even going to sell it to me. You watch. Maybe someday I need to go do it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, if you act sick, you feel like you're acting sick. If you don't act sick, you feel like they're like looking at you like you don't need this shit, really. I'm like, no, man. I feel like got to give a whole story about it.
You're right. That's funny. Yeah. No, well, at least it's because you've run down. You guys have been hauling butt in the shop.
Yeah, you left us for a couple of days.
Yeah.
All by ourselves. And, you weren't a popular guy Monday morning as we were getting our asses kicked. Bradley had to go back to school. See, the earlier the week, it wasn't too bad because Bradley was in here and we made him work. And then Monday, he had to go back to school. So it was like we felt the pinch. But next Monday, we got a new employee starting. So it should be good. We've been a little bit short since Haloti left us. Haloti went to the military. For any of those that listening to know him, he swung by. I was actually sick when he swung by.
Oh, really?
Several weeks ago, I was out, I think, but he swung by.
Is he still glad he did it
in the Marines? Yeah, I think so. I think he was wanting the. I think he was just looking for adventure, and you know what I mean. Like I think that was what it was. When he came to me, it was like, I'm like, yep, I get it. Like, I don't know, he's 19 or 20 or something like that, but he was looking for some type of adventure, doing something, have some kind of purpose and
experience. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I totally get it.
So,
and that's the way to do it. That's one way to do it.
You go and get some experience there. That's for sure.
The best one, I don't know if I said this on a previous podcast, but we had a kid working with us at the dealership when I worked for Toyota. And you know what a shop's like. I mean, it's razzing back and forth. It's nonstop. And I remember this kid on his way out. He says, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm going in the Marines. I can't handle just the way you guys treat me all the time." And we're like, "Dude, you are in for a shock. Like, what do you think you're walking into? Go watch Major Payne or something." Like,
yeah.
But I thought that was great. Yeah, I can't handle you guys anymore. I'm joining. And I think he also joined the Marines. It's like, dude, you're going to come out the other side of this a new man. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So tomorrow or Monday, we'll have a new guy starting. I think you're going to be up here. You're going to make the trip up here. You got to pick up some dog food.
Yeah, we're turning and burning. I'm going to come get some dog food, and I may have to pick up some extra. I got to do a count. But it sounds like you sold most of our dog food. We got anything left?
Man, I'm telling you what, I think I counted, it was over like 25 grand in dog food sales in a day.
That's crazy.
Like, I had James and some of his buddies wanted a couple of pallets of Inukshuk, so there was like 3 pallets of Inukshuk that the guys told me that they were going to take, and then Belosier and those guys in East wanted 4 pallets of Next Level, so I was like, okay, so that is on the way. And then and I got another text for a guy that wanted 5 pallets of High Standard. So I was like, damn, that's like...
You're hitting all of our buddies.
Yeah, everybody gets a little bit of dog food. I'm like, damn, okay.
Which is funny because I actually saw 2 of them. You know, I saw Wade was at Grand American.
Oh, yeah?
And Chip. And, you know, so I got to hang out with those guys a little bit. The restaurant we were in, the only place was the bar you could get into. So that's where we found them. And then
who, Chip and Wade?
Chip and Wade, yeah, they were there. And Brandon White with Next Level, they were out there. They had a tent set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the gathering place. They're so different out there. Like, that is a huge event.
What, the Grand American?
Yeah, Grand American. So, like, all the dog food guys were there. Speaking of Next Level, though, what about that Stratus? Did it take off at all? Did you have some guys buy that? Or is that...
No. The lower cost bags. Right?
Yeah.
They were like, I want to say like $38 a bag. Actually, I should check in on one guy was feeding it. So I
thought that one guy, and I'm not going to say his name either, but I thought somebody bought a pallet.
Yeah, so I think we didn't buy a pallet, but like 10 or 15 bags. So he should be about done, if nothing else. So I should check and see how he liked that feed. It's a whole new world, this dog food, like all the options and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Between High Standard, you know, like Next Level, High Standard, Inukshuk, and then Stratus, which is a different line off of Next Level, I think. I guess it's kind of the same company, but it's a different line.
That's what, because I talked with Brandon, I talked with him quite a bit. And, that's what he says, like, get this one in, because I was trying to even get it into like our local feed store and stuff, the cow dog guys and whatever. But he says, yeah, I'm going to look at that because it is quite, I mean, it's a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
Enough worthwhile. It still seems like a good quality feed. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much at that one, but, you know, for the price point, I've never, like, this is the most I've ever looked at dog food before, because I've always just been like a single track. We never had, you know, and the big thing that's changed is we took over the building space. You haven't been up here since we've expanded.
No, it's going to be new for me.
So we have space in our warehouse now, whereas before we were always pretty congested with space. And so now I can take in a couple pallets of dog food, and so it's like, you know, we're slowly moving through, and we get every week we get somebody come in for a couple bags or whatever, and you know, we're slowly starting to move dog food, like, but it's interesting because I've always just been like, hey, what I feed is what I get, and we do it once a year. we would bring in a bunch of dog food once a year, and a bunch of us would get together. And I've just been like, man, that is really difficult now to do. So now I just deal with it as like, hey, we can facilitate it. We can get dog food. We prefer to deal with larger quantities. You know what I mean? Like I still, but we're selling it by the bag too. So,
but you got a couple guys. I mean, like it was worth it for him to drive up. Didn't you have a couple from California drive up?
Yeah, we had one guy from California come up and took a pallet.
Like I think it's worth it. Like anybody on the West Coast, if you're looking, get a hold of us because we can look at cost for you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I know it's worth it because I got guys coming up from California and they've been picking off my pallet, and I'm coming up to get at least one more from you.
I guys from California, Idaho, 2 pallets are going to Idaho. You know what I mean? We got to try and figure out how to get them over there, and then a lot of Eastern Oregon. So what I just tell you is find out. The biggest thing that annoys me is somebody, not customers, but like on Facebook. So like, hey, how much is dog food? And I'm like, well, first tell me what you're wanting. You know what I mean? What are you feeding now, and what are you paying now? You know what I mean? That's my first 2 questions for you. Is if you know what you're feeding now and you know what you're paying now, then I might be able to say, I'm like, there's been times I'm like, dude, keep doing what you're doing. Like I can't help you. You know what I mean? Like if you're on the East Coast and you're getting a pallet of a Nook Shook or whatever like that, like we're not gonna be able to fix that price. We're not going to be able to beat, every price. But if you're buying it at a store or whatever, and you're buying it 1 bag at a time, you might be able to save some money by buying 10 bags at a time or 5 bags at a time. Sure. And that's, what's been for us. The biggest thing for us that's easy is Next Level is they're just a distributor, right? So we can pull out of that distributor once a week. And, I got 2 pallets of that LS30 sitting here in the shop because I looked at when I logged in to the website, I was like, they only got 2 pallets left. I'm like, we got one customer right now. He's actually a bird hunter. They're taking a pallet a month. It was like they had 25 dogs up there bird hunting. And I'm like, oh, shit.
That is wild.
So he's like, can I just schedule 1 pallet every month for the next, 5 months or whatever what the season is? And so anyways, whatever I seen that we were going to run out of them in the warehouse, I was like, I'll take those 2 pallets. So I just bought them just to sit on them because that guy's going to he's going to probably call us next week and be like, hey, I need a pallet. And I'm like,
well, good, because I might need to grab a couple of them bags. That's why I just switched over from the 2420 Next Level to the 30 LS.
Yeah, we got plenty of 30 LS right now. Perfect. And then we got the warehouse is empty, but I'm working with them. I think we got 4 pallets coming from that next shipment too. So in the next, we're going to be.
It's nice that it's been pretty steady.
Yeah,
but that was I don't want to make this a full plug here, but I talked with Brandon a bit, and that's what he was telling me is supply chain. They can keep their distributors full because they own the manufacturing plant. I know you've checked it out. It's a pretty big operation.
Yeah.
But it's been good feed. I've liked it so far. The 2420 just wasn't enough, which I've always kind of fed that blend. That when you say, what do you feed now? I've always been a 2420 guy.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Always. I fed that sport mix for years till it tried, I remember calling them and telling them, hey, you guys got a problem. Mm-hmm. And of course they did not until about 2 months later.
They did not listen.
That's when that recall hit. I'm like, dude, we caught this a while ago, but I'm feeding both, to be honest. I'm feeding Next Level and a Nook Shook. And I can't say I've fed anything better than either one. I'm not going to say one is better than the other. They're so comparable in my eyes and what I'm seeing. I started on a Nook Shook. That's what we bought the full truck of a Nook Shook. And then I just had a dog that just refused to eat a Nook Shook for some reason. So I wasn't gonna be like you. I'm like, I'll feed 2 different types. I was like, nope. So I tried. And Nook Shook at first, for the first month, they were holding up good. Everything was good on it. And then
my red dog, which is everybody says is my favorite. She just would not eat it. And then I could change recipes. So I'd change like to 26, 18 and she started eating. And, but she was just getting really finicky. And so I tried a couple of different things. And finally I was like, all right, I got to try something different. So, and I've heard, so with the Nook Shook, you either love it or the dogs just refused it. You know what I mean? So I've heard a couple other people that had just a flat refusal to eat. But there's plenty of people that, so we're still going to bring it in because it's a good feed. Like there's plenty of people who are just like loving it. So that's my deal on that.
Yeah. No, they're both good feed. I've liked them both, but I will tell you this: if you're switching over from something, I don't want to say like names, but if you're switching and this is like a definite increase in quality of feed,
yeah,
you know, like you can overfeed them real easy. Like when I was trying to get stuff adjusted, those dogs, you know, if you notice you're gaining or dropping weight, you're 2 weeks behind it, I think.
Yeah.
You know, like you really got to watch it. So we were measuring everything out. We were really watching. But I'll tell you, it was a big difference going from like that sport mix I was feeding before. God, then we were feeding. I don't know. I went through a bunch trying to find it. But this stuff, both that next level and a Nook Shook, what you're not feeding them is what you're saving. You know, and I'm talking like 2.5 cups was it. Like you get over that, and them dogs were starting to go. Fat.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference that I've seen is if you're feeding something off the shelf and you're not paying a ton of attention to it, you know, and you just look at the cost per bag, it's like, okay, you're not calculating the fact that you're saving money, having a lot of less, you know, poop to clean up or whatever. And so, anyways.
My hunting partner, Brandon, he figured it out down to the calories percent. Like, he had it down to a gnat's ass, like figuring out like with K-cows. And I really want to get another nutritionist on here to talk about like digestible. The digestibility of a feed is a big difference, you know, usable calories versus just calories per cup kind of thing. But that's way above anything I comprehend. I would just like to get someone on here. Yeah.
So let us know what you're feeding. I'm curious to see what most people are feeding and what they're happy with. And there's a ton of different options out there. But anyways, and if you're on the West Coast, we can try to help you. Don't be shy. You can call us, and we can but just know what recipe you're looking for, and you have your prices that you do, because you know sometimes there's just like, we're not going to be able to touch that on price. Right. You know, there's some low cost food out there that I don't want to carry. I mean, I'm not going to carry the low cost stuff just because I don't want to deal with the recall or anything like that. So I want to make sure we deal with just stuff that's safe. So anyways, I don't even know how we got on that subject. How was Grand American? Let's talk about what we're supposed to talk about.
It was good, man. There was a ton of people. I mean, it blows my mind every time I go back, the perception of like the coon hunters in that town. Like Steve. So I went out, me and Steve Fielder and Heath Hyatt, we all just rented an Airbnb. So we were bunkies for 3 days, and they helped me out in the full cry booth. And, you know, it's always good. I look forward to seeing those guys. I'd never met Heath in person. You know, I've known him all these years, but.
Does he act like a cop?
He's a good cop. Yeah.
Oh, he's a good cop.
He's a good cop. Yeah. We'll put it this way. When we went out to dinner, I gave him and Steve the seats that face the door, which is not my jam. Like, I want to see that door and know what's going on. I trusted Heath enough, so I figured
Heath had the position. He was watching. He was paying attention.
He was watching.
That's funny.
But, you know, he had me actually, he says, fly into Charlotte and I'll just pick you up. So he picked me up, and it was like a 2-hour road trip that we were both wishing was about a 6-hour road trip, because you just get talking dogs. And, you know, like I said, we've known each other, but we haven't met. So that was really cool. And then, you know, the event, they got the billboards on the side of the interstate. The Airbnb rental we had, I had to call because we had some Wi-Fi issues. And she says, well, hey, I just want to let you know, thank you guys. I heard that you're in town for the event. And I just want to thank you because this is really big for our community. Coon hunters are like a huge revenue source for this town. Mm-hmm. And we hope you come back and thank you again. Like they acknowledge the value of the houndsmen out there different than like what we see out here, really.
Yeah.
And they had, that dinner, Steve, we were late because we had a bunch of traffic, but they do this big dinner on Thursday night, and it's Chamber of Commerce and the mayor, and they had one of the directors from the Department of Agriculture there. And, it's really cool to see the difference and people there supporting it. So that was good. We had a good steak and got to see the Happy Gilmore checks for the Purina race that they give out for the Purina race winner in the hunt and show.
What's a Happy Gilmore check?
Happy Gilmore check?
Yeah.
You ever seen Happy Gilmore?
No.
The golf movie with Adam Sandler? Oh
no.
My gosh, I forget. The big ones. The ones that you can't fit in the back seat of your car.
Oh, a big check.
The big check.
Like a fake one, but it's just okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The $5,000 and $10,000 checks for winning the Purina race.
Oh.
And then they do a painting of the top scoring, hunt and show dog, which are really cool. They had the artist there this year, and I'm hoping to get to meet up with her and do an interview. But like that's cool.
Right.
And then it's just the event all, Friday, Saturday. And there's probably 25, 30,000 people there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. They hunt. I can't remember how many dogs they hunted. I want to say it was probably like close to 300. But the people there are just coming through. And I mean, it's families with strollers. It's, people in their 80s and 90s all the way down to newborns.
So there's a lot of vendors there?
Tons of vendors. Yeah. Like, I mean, pretty much everybody's there.
Except me. Except us.
Well, I mean, I'm there and everybody asks. And that's the thing. I can't go anywhere without W question. So I represented you. That was free of charge. But no, and it's good to talk with those guys because I joke around. Like, I know you and Billy and all those guys. Like, you've known each other for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like I explained to people, yeah, we all are in the same business, but we all get along.
Yeah.
Really, like Bruce Conkey doesn't know he bought me beer yet, probably, but when the receipt hits, he'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We had dinner with Zach and his wife Ashley and one of their guys, Jonathan. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like the hub. Everybody, you get to see them once a year. Or like when I went to Oaks, I got to see a bunch of them, but I don't think I'm going to go back next year. That was too dang hot.
Oh, Oaks?
Oh my God, it was miserable this year.
It sounded like it was pretty cold over there for the Grand American.
It was a little nippy, man. I was worried about getting home with that ice storm.
Yeah, a bunch of ice storms and stuff all through we had a couple of shipments from Garmin get delayed. We were trying to overnight some stuff because we ran out and it was a mess. Steve,
he was like a horse headed for the barn Sunday morning, but he's going south. And Heath, he had to drop me off at the airport. And he's like, man, I feel bad leaving you here. I'm like, dude, I'm fine. Like, you'll learn this about me. I'm resilient. I got a room, just drop me off. It was like 10 in the morning. I flew out at 10 the next morning. Right. So I just locked myself in the room. That was a whole experience. That could take half this podcast. That was the worst hotel I've ever stayed at in my life. I wish I had my truck. We'll put it that way.
What was wrong with the hotel?
Well, I mean, first off,
the
place smelled horrible. I mean, nasty.
Oh.
And I finally get my room. I go around.
Well, but you're in the South, so I mean, like it's probably the climate is different, right? Humidity and stuff like that. You're just not used to.
I don't know, man. It was just bad. Like,
my old man was born in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
So we always went back there. I was like, dude, that humidity was just way different. So like,
it's a whole different world out there. Whole different. So this hotel, it's got this huge, like, two wings, right? Like, you got the two going this way. Well, there's rooms on the front side and there's rooms on the back side.
Yeah.
Mine was on the back side. I don't know what the front side rooms look like, but let me tell you, the backside, about every other door looked like it had a pry bar shoved in. My room had 2, and then they tried to color match the paint. They didn't even like try to fix the dents. Like I would have spread some Bondo in it or something, to smooth it off and make it look it. No, they just took some looked like green Sharpie and painted over where the pry bar had been shoved into it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I can handle this. And you go in the room and it was even worse. I mean, the smell was horrible. The bed was horrible. I pulled the comforter off the bed and slept in my clothes. Like, didn't take the shower. I'm like, this is bad. Danny's, she booked it and she says, honey, I had like a 4-star review. I tried. I'm really sorry. I said, it's not your fault, but let me tell you. 4 stars.
I had to open the door. I'd let the hookers out before I could go into my room.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. Like, I had 3 random knocks on my door through the night.
Really?
Yep. And I'm like, this is not for me. Luckily, I took check bags this time. Usually I just carry on. Yeah. So I was able to pack my knife with me. I literally slept in that hotel with my pocket knife open and right there with me, man. I was...
Really?
I don't want to sound like a sissy. Like, I'm telling you, it was gnarly. I'm a country boy. I can handle the city, but I don't like resting. Like, I'll stay up all night, and I think I might have got a couple hours sleep off and on, but that was the end of it. It was really good. Beginning, middle, and then the end of it was like, I'm ready to get home.
It wasn't the Holiday Inn.
No. Well, I'll tell you what it was here in about 2 seconds. What was it? And I will give you all a little piece of advice.
Stay away from this one if you go down there, huh?
This is a PSA to all my coon hunting buddies. We're Quality Inn and Suites Airport. Do yourself a favor. Either get a room on the front side and hope it's better, or just keep on trucking. There's about 3 more in the area. I would recommend looking at them first.
Oh.
And then
that's fun.
All day traveling.
Is that when Heath looked at that and was like, hey, good luck. I'll drop you off here.
No, that's what he felt bad. And I don't know, like, if you realized how sketchy it was either.
He's a cop. He's probably like, this place is...
Dude, looking back now, I'm like, he probably knew something I didn't, walking in.
He just looked at it and was like, oh, man, there's a lot of shady shit that goes on right here.
Oh, my God. Well, he was trying to beat the storm, and he's like, man, I'll hang out. I'm like, no, just get going. Beat this ice storm home, It is what it is. I'm staying here. And then as I'm talking to Danny the next morning, she says, why didn't you just get a shuttle to the airport and sleep in the airport? It would have been better. And I agree. I probably should have thought of that. But I swear the worst part was coming home. I had a 6-hour layover in Portland.
Right.
And you realize I live 4 hours from Portland. Like,
I know. If I was feeling better, I would have been like, I'll just run down there and have dinner with you. But I wasn't feeling. I was like, dude, I don't feel like going to Portland. Not for Jason either, dude. I was like, no. But in the back of my head, just so you know, I was
you were thinking about it.
If it wasn't Portland, I would have been like, Jason, could you just meet me across the river over here in Vancouver or something?
Oh my God.
But get Uber. I'll have dinner with you. But I did not want to go to Portland, man. The whole Portland thing ruined it for you.
Yeah. No, Danny says, well, and then the last layover before that was Sacramento, which is about 5 hours south. Mm-hmm. Danny says, I can come pick you up and we'll be home way before your flight gets here with your baggage. We can run and pick up your bags.
Well, they won't put your bags on if they... They won't put your bags on if you don't board that plane.
See, that's good to know.
Yeah, they would... The bags don't go until you board.
Oh, so gotcha.
They're not letting people fly.
That makes sense, I guess.
If you get off, they're like, "Whoa, get that bag." You know what I mean? If you don't show up, they're gonna go find that bag and pull that bag off. You're gonna be driving back to a second trip. Like, well, we would have been good time, but we had to go back to pick up my knife.
Hate flying. Have I told you that? Mm-hmm. So I borrowed I'll back up and I'll wrap this up, but I mean, these are good. So my kid, he's got this really big, cheap backpack. Think of an old JanSport, just simple backpack.
Yeah.
And I can fit a lot of crap in it. So I take that as my carry-on and I say, hey, make sure all your stuff's out of it. Let me know. So I go through and I check it out and everything's clear, pack all my stuff. And I get to the airport and they're searching my back. Like, this guy's going through it like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, what the heck is the hang up here?
Yeah.
Apparently there's a hidden pocket that contained 2 pocket knives.
In your pack?
Yeah. Yeah. My kid's Connor's. So they're like, what are these? I said, honestly, bud, I don't know. He's like, the pocket was hidden. It took him a long time. He says, I had to search it. I couldn't find him, but it's right here. And I said, look, man, just pitch him. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not going to get out of line, go through security, have Danny turn around and come back. I'm just going to buy my kid a new pocket knife.
Right.
So yeah, that was always fun. Last time they dropped a screwdriver in my podcast bag. So they took my favorite screwdriver, wouldn't let them snap on ratchet in ones. So TSA has gotten a lot of my stuff unknowingly. But
yeah.
And then I watched some guy just about get put on a no-fly list in Portland. That was pretty cool too. Do you know they got bicycle cops in the airport?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen them a couple times.
And the best part was when they were done, he takes his bicycle and he rolls it up to the escalator and he's like riding his bike up the escalator.
What was he doing to get on the no-fly list?
Dude, this guy, so it must have just been an airport attendee, one of their employees. And he asked him where he was headed. And this guy just went on a tirade. I mean, about like immigrants and Democrats, and like started getting loud, vocal. Mm-hmm. And it ended with a couple FUs and this and that. And then he tried to get on his plane and they're like, no way, man, you're not going. And then they called the cops. And we had our phones out. We were waiting for like the real meltdown, but he just ended up leaving. So no real excitement there.
Yeah.
And then I flew home and got a nap and came to work the next morning.
That was a exciting trip for you.
It was.
Like worldly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm cultured now.
Yeah. Well. Oh, so a lot of people Grand American.
Just getting to see stuff from Heath.
So what are they doing? Do they just walk around different vendors, or like if there's only 300 dogs hunting a Grand American, what? Like explain the venue.
Well, it's broken down. They got the dog sale barn for like stud dogs and puppies and dogs for sale. And then
how many vendors do you think are in there?
Huh?
How many vendors dogs do you think? Vendors.
God. Probably 100.
100 different between dogs and companies and all that.
Oh yeah, I mean the vendor list. There was probably 30 or 40, probably 30 in our building. Mm-hmm. And then there's another building outside that would have like 4 or 5. And then they have.
Find anything cool? Did you see anything that you bought that was like, didn't?
Just stuff for the kids, T-shirts and stuff. But like there were vendors sold out and headed home. They were done by midday.
No product ideas, no nothing. No.
Yeah, those like cut-proof locking collars.
Oh,
I got to put my hands on one of them.
They're expensive though.
They're very expensive. They're like $100.
Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about doing that, like running a cable through the, having the biothane and, having the cable built. And, and I think the challenge of manufacturing that is difficult to do at scale. It's okay to do it for a little bit, but.
Right.
I was worried
I just want to touch one, and actually see it. It's cool. I get it. I just, I don't have.
How secure do you think it is?
I think
that was my concern. Is I was like, man, I could see that because I was thinking about running like a cable inside the strap. You know what I mean? Because I was like, well, somebody just cut the strap, so you try to make something that wouldn't be cuttable, which you couldn't. Right? Like we can cut almost everything. So some of it's like, okay, you're just making it so the tracking collar doesn't come off. You know what I mean?
Well, there was cable through it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty secure to the average. Like if a guy's out trying to get one, I'm sure if you had big enough cutters, bolt cutters or something, you could do it. But I think like the concern of somebody, a non-hunter, picking up your dogs and dumping your collars, I don't think it would happen.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I see it on Facebook or something. I know what you're talking about. I've seen them. And I remember, this was like 5-10 years ago that I was thinking, man, make a lock collar, or people couldn't, because the old telemetry, at least nobody knew it was a magnet to turn it off. You know what I mean? Like, and I always told Garmin, I'm like, man, I would like, it's complicated, but I'm like, man, it would be really nice to have a feature that you could not turn that collar off unless it was near the handheld. You know what I mean?
Like have an ant signal.
Yeah, just so you can't turn a collar off unless it's next to you. Like a way to lock that collar, that tracking collar. So it's like you can push the button, but if you don't push that button and you're not within a certain set distance to that collar, that handheld, you know what I mean? Like that's always just what I thought. Is like, man, is there a way so that somebody couldn't take my dog and turn the collar off? It just turns into that locking mechanism that, my ideas that I've spitballed has just been like, well, could you make it so that you turn it off by the handheld, like the old Tritronics, where you had to turn them off with a handheld.
Right. Or kill the LED light so they wouldn't know that it was. Yeah,
that's what I told them. It's like, make them think the collar's off would be better.
Right.
They're like, yeah, but then you're going to show up. Like, they didn't say this, but I know they're thinking. Then you're going to show up and beat their ass and you're going to get sued. And
we're going to have a liability on our hands.
So that's probably where they were like, yeah, we don't, you know what I mean? Like the lawyers part of the discussion's like, oh, yeah, you show up and the collar turns off. Make it look like it turns off so that the person thinks it's turned off. Right. And then they're really surprised when a pissed off hound guy shows up and anyways.
Yeah, that's pretty much the truth probably.
Yeah. So I can tell you probably will never happen. You know what I mean? Unless it's
same reason we don't have a fry all button on that.
Yeah. There's some decisions that when you think about it a step further, you know what I mean? Beyond
down the judicial system.
Yeah. In court when you're like, so you pretended to turn the collar off so you could trick this poor sap into thinking he was getting away with it. And then when he showed up, y'all beat his ass. Like, yes, sir, that's how it happened exactly. We tricked him first so that he couldn't turn the collar off. And so in that part, I'm like, yep, I can see where the lawyers are like, yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like the other guys are like, what's wrong with that? It sounds fair to me.
Yeah, well.
So
we got to find him first.
But I would love to have a way, like those they try to do it with collar locks and they do it with the control codes and things like that. That it's like, I would really it would be awesome to have a setup so that my collars cannot turn off unless I'm next to my handheld. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, there would be some challenges if I lost my handheld. You know what I mean? Like there'd have to be some triage that maybe you got to take it to a computer and reset it if something like that happened. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I don't want to be like, well, those collars will never work again because I don't have the 300. So it's like maybe there's a code or something. You know what I mean? If you know your control code or something like that, you could enter it in. And anybody that had the control, I don't know. Like I said, it's a pipe dream. Like it's just something I've thought about whenever spitballing ideas. It's like what would be helpful on that locked side of things, with the collar lock. And I'm like, could we electronically lock this? The answer is yes, but I don't know if they'll ever do it.
The answer is always yes, given enough time and money.
Yeah, they could hide the button. They could hide the light too and trick them so that the people think they get it turned off. And then the right people would get their ass beat once in a while too. And
I bet they wouldn't steal no more dogs.
Yeah, I don't think they would. I think they'd learn their lesson after that. But
that was about it, though. I mean, I didn't get to walk around a whole lot. I was pretty busy talking with people. But when you got Steve Fielder in the booth, I mean, it is constant people. Like, people stop by 3-4 times if he was gone to, like, check in and talk with him. It's amazing how many guys that guy knows and can remember. Like, he remembers all of them, and he remembers the dogs, and he remembers the hunt that he was on. It's pretty wild. I am not that guy.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it was pretty good. That hunting boots, man. Those, like, Yoder boots and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if those guys just trash boots every year, but every time we go to a big event like that, there's boots rolling around everywhere. We should look into carrying boots.
Yeah, but again, man, I see that, like the boots and people, and I just don't know, like the sizes and the SKUs, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's sometimes I look at that and I look at we're so far removed on the West
Yeah.
that we don't have, you see these shops that are able to make little storefronts or whatever, and I'm like, man, like the stuff they carry sometimes, I'm like, it's either the margin's got to be pretty good, or they
sell
move
a
enough
lot.
volume, or they have a lot cheaper rent than we do over here. I don't know what, the business side of things, because
Probably all those.
all of the above, but so I look at some of that stuff and I'm like, wow, what new products should we bring in? And I've looked at boots and stuff, but it's a headache.
It's a lot of
And I
SKU.
don't think we'd sell, like over in the West, I think there's too many different options, you know what I mean? With crispy and snays and all the different types of boots out there, out in the mountains. They're not like the muck boot, you know what I mean?
They're a different boot. Yeah, we need a different boot. I'll wear mine. Like I got a set of Yoders, I think.
Yeah, and that might be it, is that they're hunting more swamps and, flat ground,
Right.
where we're hunting, hills, trains,
mountains.
canyons,
Don't sell it short. Those are mountains,
shitholes.
buddy.
Yeah.
And we go to the bottom usually at some point in the night.
Yeah. Well, no, if you're on the bottom, you go to the top. If you're on the top, you go to the bottom.
Yeah, right.
Whichever way it goes. So,
but yeah, it was. They know who we are out there, though. I saw some W swag rolling around, and lots
That's
of
good.
podcast listeners stopped by.
Oh, really?
Yeah, lots of them.
Well, stop making fun of their hotels down there, then.
Well, I'm telling you, they wouldn't stay in that hotel either. I'm gonna be putting up a sign looking for a couch next year. Holy cow.
Somebody's not going to knock on your door at night.
No. But
Charlene.
yeah, there was actually more swag running around this year than I saw last year. So they know who we are out there.
Well, that's good. It
Speaking
would be
of
fun
swag,
to go down and just walk around. I really don't like vending. I don't like having to sit and try to sell stuff. Like,
yeah.
it's just not my cup of tea for the most part. But I
One
do
trip
like
a
meeting
year,
customers.
usually.
I do like enjoying and bullshitting with people. But so that's the only thing. But man, I hate it whenever it's like you're trying to figure out what you need to sell and blah blah blah, and that's the part that I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
So
But
we got a
speaking
couple
of swag. You should
Yeah.
touch on. I know it's not next on the list, but those new Tom shirts.
Yeah, we had. There's two things I want to do before I forget. We need to give a plug out to Alpha Dog Nutrition. I know they get plugged in the beginning of this podcast, and everyone's, but they've been sponsoring this podcast this year. I feed their free range, which is like a glucosamine, the hip and joint feed, and I can see a difference. Like I said, I even feed my younger dogs, which I don't need to, but I'm like, you know what? Some of this stuff is if you feed it before, you don't want to feed it when you need it. You want to feed it before you need it. You know what I mean? Like glucosamine and stuff like that is going to really help you out before, you need to. It's not like, your dogs can go out hunting and then you just dump glucosamine to them afterwards. And it's like, oh, they just heal up quickly. It's like glucosamine kind of builds all that and helps the joints and all that stuff ahead of time. So that's kind of my regiment that I've been feeding. I've used the Resurgence a little bit if I hunt and want them when they're recovering from me too. I just had Jordan was just in here and he was talking about Resurgence. He's like, man, they drank like twice as much water when I put it in the water.
Oh my gosh. And right now, because I'll go through and all my kennels are lined up. So I'll go through and I'll feed everybody, go through water, and then I'll go through and I'll clean kennels. By the time I grabbed, I use a manure scooper to go clean out kennels, all I could hear was dogs just guzzling water. I mean, all of them in unison, the whole line just blow. That Resurgence makes them drink right now. And I started packing it on our trip when we went to the Houndsman for Heroes.
I think hydration is a really critical part of the recovery. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
they can drink. Like, I need to go get more water because I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
that's
cover
what
myself.
right there. Because it's like, you know, it makes them want to drink. And when I travel, my dogs, we don't really travel much. You know, we hunt close to home. So when you're on a trip, like, you know, they don't want to eat like normal half the time. They don't want to drink.
Yeah.
That stuff. I don't think they have an option. They have to drink.
Yeah. So those are the two, like I said, Alpha Dog and that free range for the joints. If you're looking for a good joint supplement, we're going to highly recommend those guys. And then the Resurgence. And I've never put it in the water, but that's the second time I've heard somebody say they just flat drink.
In the water instead of on the feed?
With the Resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said, right?
No, I put it on their feed.
Oh, okay. And then
so I'll put it on. I'll top dress their feed with it.
Okay.
And then after they eat, I mean, they're instantly to the water bucket.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought you guys were putting it in the water. So
I'm not, but
no,
I mean,
he may. I don't know if he is or not either. Maybe he's not. Maybe I misunderstood that. So I put it on the food and go from there. So awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, we have it on our website. If you guys need, you can get it from them. Alpha Dog Nutrition or DU Hunt Supply. You know, give us a shout. We have it. We can do a subscription and all that good stuff. So now let's get back to. Go ahead.
Well, this is going to roll into that because if you're a VIP member, you should have gotten a sample.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we
like
sent out a sample a couple months ago to all the VIP members, the sign-up members.
And you're a VIP and you receive that and you tried it, next time you call in, let us know. Let us know what you think of it.
And on that note, Tom, so we was working with Tom Mansanarez. He's an artist. You know, he does he's been doing bear and cougar and hound art for forever. Like ever since I've started, I remember seeing his prints and stuff like that at different auctions and
Troubled Waters.
Yeah. Trouble's Brewing, Troubled Waters, you know, between a rock and a hard space or whatever, all those different things. Anyways, I was over there visiting with him. I actually got to meet him. He came over here and we had a fishing trip.
That's right. Him and
Phil Soucy.
Right?
And he came and we went over to the coast, and so I got to spend a little bit of time with him. He didn't make it on the boat because he was worried about space, so he left. But anyways, I got to visit around with him for a couple hours before, and really got to chat and talking. And then when I went to Eastern Idaho, I sat with him at the table because he's a member of the Eastern Idaho Houndsman Association. That's the town he lives in. And anyways, we've been BSing back and forth a little bit, and he wanted to redo our logo, you know, to make it look more like two dogs running, which we got that one done. And then I told him, I said, I'm always looking for different little artwork, little pieces that we can use for clothing or, you know, shirts or whatever. And so he's, you know, in December, he's an artist, so he's a little bit of a procrastinator, like me. He's building a new studio. So I'm like, man, this all started back in like September when we talked about it, and then November was hunting, and you know, October so hunting, so I wasn't pushing. And anyways, for our VIP members, we had this idea to, like, if we could get one of his drawings, you know, it was a pencil drawing of our logo, and that was our December gift to our VIP members. You know, so we sent one of those. And so I was under the crunch, so I finally called him, and I'm like, hey, Tom, not like bugging you, but I'm rushing you. Like,
we need our calendars. No,
shit, or get off the
Same
pot.
Kind of project.
And he's like, oh, no. And that guy is absolutely talented. Like, he's like, I'm gonna sit down and sketch one out right now real quick, and I'll send it to you in a couple hours. Well, it wasn't a couple hours because he got busy doing something else. But the next morning, he's like, I forgot. He's like, send me another procrastinating excuse, which I love because I'm like, that's me exactly. That's me. And he goes, I'm doing it right now. And so, like, an hour later, he sends me this sketch, and I'm like, holy cow. The things he can do in, like, inside of 30 minutes to an hour with a pencil and just doing. So he came up with some really cool designs that we started with. So we had one of a dog he had that was kind of like jumping, and it was kind of facing forward jumping, if you look. And so we got that on a t-shirt. And then we got another design where it's more of a dog treeing, but it's like 4 feet on the ground treeing. And that's, we got those done right at the end of December. It was right after Christmas. We couldn't make it for Christmas. I'll blame Tom. I should have started earlier, but it was, and I didn't want to rush it because I didn't want to be like, 2 days before Christmas Eve, we launched this new you know what I mean? So I was like, we're going to have to wait till after Christmas anyway. So we ended up launching that product. It would have been awesome if we were business people, better business people. We would have launched that at the end of November.
If Christmas wasn't in hunting season, we'd be a lot better off.
The hunting season screws everything up.
I know.
Man. I'm telling you what, it's like so anyways, so after Christmas, after everybody got their t-shirts for Christmas, you know what I mean? Then we launched this brand new t-shirt line.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe by next Christmas people get them. We've been selling the heck out of them. People have been liking them. They're a really cool design.
And they're simple. Like you said, the sketch, they're clean. They're really cool.
And so we're working on the 2-dog running logo, so I posted a picture of one of the prints that we sent out to the members on Facebook, I think, before Christmas. I think I just like a Merry Christmas or whatever. It was a really cool print. We're working right now on getting that, and I'm actually working with a shirt company to see if we can get those made with that print on t-shirts and sweatshirts. But we're going to have to do a screen print on that one, I think, or at least for the first one, I want to do a screen print because it has a lot of detail and like shading and stuff. And so I'm like, you know what? If we can do the heat transfer, but we lose so much detail. So we'll probably have a heat transfer option of that. But the first one that we do on a t-shirt, I'm going to be like, whatever. So look for that. So we call it the Tom Mansanarez line. And I'm just going to let you know that on those really quick, and Tom didn't ask me to do this, but I put in $3 for every one of those big prints that we sell of his on a t-shirt. And that $3 is going straight to Tom. It's kind of like a royalty, and basically I just want to make sure that Tom feels appreciated and that when people buy one from him, he kind of gets to see, number one, we don't sell millions of shirts. You know what I mean? Like we don't sell millions, but we do sell a lot of shirts. And so he gets to kind of share in the success of it. And my hope is it's worthwhile for him that I got some really cool plans to try to box Tom in again and get more designs made. You know what I mean? So like, I think it'll work out good for him. He's so quick at doing it. These were kind of our trial periods, and I can tell you so far that people have loved them. People have gotten the designs. They look them. I've gotten a lot of, I don't know about you, but I've gotten several, of the members who'd called and just like thanked us for that print. That it's really cool.
It's on canvas.
Yeah. And so that design is just way cool. Tom's giving me crap about our old logo now. He's like, you got that old logo now. you need to get my logo on there. I'm like, Tom, like there's like trademarks and all sorts of stuff with that logo. I can't just like flip a switch and in the U.S. trademark department is like, oh yeah, we'll just swap that picture out real quick. But
he's supported Houndsman for so long.
He has.
Like when I first got into it, I went to my first banquet. Like that guy's donated so many prints and stuff to banquets and whatnot over the years. Like he's been a very active part in supporting Houndsman. And he's not just a hound artist. Like his other outdoor paintings and stuff are so well, that one, well, you ended up buying two. One of them's hanging in my house. Yeah. But that one of the bobcat it was stalking a quail. Mm-hmm. He's a fantastic artist, but he has always donated and dedicated that stuff to the Houndsman, which is really appreciated. If you do listen to this, I know Buddy's talking crap, Tom, but like I appreciate you.
We're buddies, man.
I know. You're fishing buddies. Almost fishing buddies.
No, and we need to get him on the podcast. I wanted to do one with him because he's got some fun stories. When I was over there staying with him, because he gave me a ride to the airport when I stayed in Eastern Idaho. And so he's telling me some stories about bears and like really close bear stories. I was like, man, some of these would be fun to get on the podcast. We need to get some guests and get some stories like that going.
Phil on too.
Yeah. So one of these days but I want to do it in person. So if I get a chance to get over there to do that,
right,
we can. So Tom Mansanarez line, that's live on the website. There are t-shirts. It's a really cool hound print. It's getting back into the hounds and the tree dog. I'm waiting if I don't think we have a ton of bird dog listeners on the podcast, but the next one I want to get is our logo with 2 bird dogs, so that the 2 dogs would be bird dogs. Because I told Tom, I was like, I really want to give something to the bird dog, because we got, we do got quite a few bird dog customers, and I make no apologies. We come from hounds, you know what I mean? Like that's where we stew from. But those bird dog guys, that guy's buying a pallet of dog food a month. Like I can maybe get a shirt for him or something like that. So I want to see the logo, if he can kind of draw up the 2 dog logo that we have, but try to make them more like 2 pointing dogs or something like that, just to see. And then we need to talk with our buddies over there at the Hunting Dog Podcast. And
Mr. Bame.
Yeah. I'd be like, hey, send him one of them and see what he thinks. So we're like, put a little mask on. So we're like, hey, we don't dislike the bird guys.
No, we really like the bird guys.
Yeah.
I do. We're getting a lot more of them lately.
I know.
Like. They're all coming from Ron.
Yeah, I know. So
like,
I was like, man.
Delivering them. Honestly, like when he got a hold of us to renew our sponsorship, I know when I called you, I'm like, dude, this guy sends a lot of people, and they are calling in and saying, Ron sent me. And at first I thought, oh, well, they're just listening to the podcast. But no, like they're reaching out to him and he's sending them our way. So Ron, we appreciate you too.
Yeah, I'd like to get like a shirt or something like that, so that they could have I'd just like to have a little bit more versatility on our shirts and stuff like that. It's hard for us to cover all the spectrums of it, but I do know that, especially if we make that the way Tom made that design more of a hound, and the front dog's got its, like got his mouth open like he's in cry, you know what I mean? Like he's like full cry. Cool. Give you a little plug. And
thanks.
The second one's where it's got its nose down on the ground, it's kind of smelling, you know what I mean? So it's kind of just brings our logo to life a little bit more. And so I just thought, man, it'd be really cool to have the 2 dogs that would represent the bird hunting side of things. So it's like, hey, there's a little bit of bird hunting on there. So
you can do it, Brittany.
I doubt it. It'd be a short hair and a long-tailed dog.
Short hair and a setter.
Probably. I don't know. That's for the artist to decide. Like,
just leave that up to Tom.
I just gotta keep him in. Like, I just gotta make sure he knows to get the job done in time. And when I critically need it, he's like awesome. But I'm not. He did do the first one, and I just texted him. I said, "Hey, Tom." I said, because he did it in the silhouette, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was just like, I told him, I said, Tom, you can do better than this. Like, I'm giving you the creative freedom to play a little bit if you want. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, okay, thank you. I got some ideas. I'm like, yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, they love that when you give them free reign.
So, because at first I think he was trying to keep it just in the silhouette, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, like just imagine those 2 dogs running a track right now. What would they be doing? You know what I mean? So you can have a little. So I gave him a little bit of freedom to draw, as he wanted. And I said, just you've been drawing dogs longer than I have.
You know what I mean? It's
like
that's the thing. It's like
the muscles, the tones, all that stuff. And so anyways, this is the second revision of it. I don't even know what the first one. It wasn't horrible. It was actually pretty good. But I just told him, I said, Tom, you got some. I'm giving you the creative freedom to take this. It's just got to be the 2 dogs running concept. You know what I mean? Like I want to see the 2 dogs running, and so
that's as good as a blank check to an artist. When you give them free reign, that's when the cool stuff happens.
Yep. So that's been cool. We'll have to post a picture of it, and we'll have it'll probably be 3 or 4 weeks. So into this month, we'll probably have a new sweatshirt and t-shirt design. And this one will be a little bit different than our normal t-shirts because we'll probably print them with screen printing. So I'll probably use a water-based ink so that it is a really super soft feel. We'll make sure we get a good shirt, so like a next level shirt or something like that. And then the other thing we're doing right now is, I don't know if Jess has talked to you or not, but we're trying to get some sweatshirts. We just bought we bought 15 sweatshirts that are a different brand than the Gildan. They're like an inch longer because we're getting a few people that talk about belly shirts after they wash them. So if you're one of those people that
I'm one of those people. That's what anytime someone calls, they're like, "Do they shrink?" I'm like, if anything, you're gonna lose an inch, like in length.
So I need to get Jess what size you are. We need to get one sent down to you to try out.
I'm gonna be there in a couple days.
The when you're up here, get one, because the question I have is do we need to? Some people love the Gildan line, because I think it's thicker than some of the thin ones.
Sure.
And so these other ones, they feel as thick. The price point is roughly in the same ballpark for the price. They're just a little bit longer. And my question is do we need to offer? So we brought them in black because black's our number one seller for sweatshirts. And so I'm just like, do we need to offer Gildan sweatshirts in black? And I don't know what the brand is. I'd have to look it up, but Jess knows. But this new brand, a sweatshirt, which is an inch longer, so the sleeves are a little bit longer and the belly's a little bit longer, or the torso or whatever. And ideally, I'm hoping we could just switch. And so it's like, hey, eventually we can just get away from the Gildan line and run these little bit longer ones.
Sure.
And then people will still be happy that the weight is right, the fit is good, but it just doesn't show the belly.
Unless you got one of them cool belt buckles you want to show off.
Yeah. So that's something that we're actively working on now. And then when we do these sweatshirts, I'm waiting for a graphic artist to get back. Give me a couple mock-ups on this Tom Mansanarez.
That'd be cool.
Screen print, but we're going to do a screen print design, and we'll do something fun with that. So, did we had a print. So if you bought, we did this. Did we do I'm trying to think out loud right now. Do you have access to Facebook?
Yes.
I don't have access on this computer here.
Did it kick you off again?
Yeah. Well, just this computer. I don't know my password. So
what am I looking at?
Did we mention that anybody that buys one of the Tom Mansanarez shirts is entered in for one of his paintings or print? I think we did. So
let me look.
It'd be back in December, like late December after Christmas.
After Christmas?
Yep, because we didn't launch those until after Christmas. So I don't know if I have the date on there. So like, hey, January.
I don't see it because I see the New Year's post and I see our Christmas coloring contest, which, by the way, thank you everybody for sending your coloring contest photos.
Coloring contest winners are going out either today or tomorrow. We got those shirts and we're actively printing those today.
So here, Merry Christmas.
Take a look.
It's a picture of it. Like, people can see what it looks like.
The shirts?
Well, the two running dogs.
This would be on the Tom Mansanarez shirts. On the t-shirts and sweatshirts. I thought
giveaway
that we were going to give away.
Yep.
Okay.
December 23rd. It's before Christmas.
Yep. So what's the end date on that giveaway?
It is... I don't see a date. January 20th. Here it is.
Okay. So you got a couple more days to get in and buy one of these Tom Mansanarez shirts. And one lucky person who's bought one of these shirts will get a full $200 and something painting / print from Tom directly. So if you go on his website, I mean, you could get a one on, bears, or there's cougar ones. There's all sorts of different paintings. If you didn't want a hound one, you could probably get a non-hound one too. But I think they're normally like $250 or something like that. And so I just told Tom, I said, hey, Tom, I'm going to buy one of those paintings from you. I just don't know which one yet. And I'm just going to pick one customer that's bought one of these shirt designs. And when I get that customer, I'm going to ask him to pick which design you want. And you just send me the bill, but send him the painting, or her the painting, or whoever it is. Right. So anyways, before January 20th, if you're listening to this, you buy one of them Tom shirts, you have a chance to win a $250 print, from a really cool artist. So
yeah. And they're all good. I mean, really, like, he's super talented. Anybody who hasn't heard of Tom, it is worth looking him up.
Yeah, Tom Mansanarez.
See, I always butcher his last name.
I do too. I probably already did. Man, yeah. Anyways, is that all of our topics? Are we covered, or?
Yeah, we covered all of them and some, probably.
Okay, I think so. I know I wanted to at least mention Alpha Dog. I want to say thank you to Alpha Dog. We haven't been on the podcast enough, but I was like, I put this free range on my computer so that when I see it, I'm like, oh yeah. Because the last 2 podcasts I've been wanting to at least give them a plug and say thank you. And I totally forget. And so I figured I'm going to put this right on this computer. I had a couple of them go in the house, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take one and put it on my computer so I can see that.
There you go.
Other than that, we do got some cool things coming out this month. We can't really talk about anything yet, but stay tuned. We got more exciting things coming out. If you are not a member of our
Leader of the Pack,
the Leader of the Pack membership, we've been really working hard to make sure that every month we do at least something that gives you that $20 value. So it's $21.95 a month. And so, like, December, you got a framed print from Tom, which if we decide to sell those, they're going to sell for $75. Like, I have every bit of $20 into framing, printing, getting all of that done. Not alone, not beside paying Tom for that design. I mean, we paid him to do a consignment print. So,
right.
That's just one example. Like one month we gave Alpha Dog, which is a $35, everybody got, I think it was free range that we sent them. So we sent them a $35 bottle of free range for that month.
Coupon codes.
We've done coupon codes. And then
which really worked out well, because I talked to a couple of VIP members and they're like, yeah, that was the best thing I've got yet.
Keep that on the down low. But yeah, we were able to do things with this group that we just can't do in with everybody. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is a small group. I'm not looking for it to be like, 10,000 people. Like, we don't, but I want our core customers that really want to just engage with our brand and have fun and do things. I want them to know that we take it seriously. Every time we do something, we're looking at it going, my goal at the end of the year, it's like $240 for the year. You can get a little better service. You can do these other things, these text messages. But my goal is for people to look at it and go, okay, I would have spent that $240 anyways. You know what I mean? Like,
heck, and just the shipping they save on it.
Yeah, that's free shipping.
Like, you and I know we were talking about it, maybe yesterday. But like, you see a lot of these orders coming through because people aren't having to wait. If it's a $20 order, it's still free shipping for VIP members. So it's like, that's paid for alone for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, little things like that we're doing, that is like, and the other thing is we just look at it and we go, it helps us make a decision sometimes when it's like, hey, this happened, whatever it is. It's like, oh, that's a VIP customer. Overnight it. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever it is, like we second day ship it or whatever. We look at it and we go, it makes us also, we've always tried to do this too. So it's not, I'm not saying that, we categorize and don't do this if you're not a VIP member or whatnot, but it does make everybody on the team know that this is an important customer. And so I want to be a part of that decision. Meaning I can't be a part of every single decision today. You know what I mean? Like there's things that happen and whatever. I mean, Jason, you're dealing with one today, and we're not going to use a name or whatever, but it was a situation, and I'm going to say we didn't mess up, but it got shipped and put in a different spot or whatever. And when we look at the situation, one of the first things I do is I look at the history and I go, damn, this customer spent X amount of money over the last little bit. We need to, he deserves us to go above and beyond. And then if I see a different customer that's like, oh yeah, he maybe spends $5 a year or hasn't done anything for 5 years, it's like, okay, well, is the math in my head is always retention of like, well, am I going to see that person ever again? Like, are they ever going to be a customer again? And am I just doing this to appease myself, or am I doing it for the customer? You know what I mean? And sometimes I look at it and I go, this person don't give a crap. And I'm not saying the guy today, like not even a little bit, but
well, like you tell us, is there a way that we can make them happy? Are they going to be satisfied in the end?
Right.
If the answer is yes, we can make it right, and they're happy, then that's when you start bending backwards.
Yep.
When they're going to go,
when they're not going to be happy,
else.
and they just want the refund or whatever it is, whatever they're asking for, and you're looking at them and you're going, you know damn good and well that I'm never going to see this person again. He's never going to spend $1 with W, no matter what I do for this. The only reason I'm doing X, Y, Z is for myself, to make myself feel like I did the right thing for him. So when he talks crap about us, we can be like, well, we did. And I'm not saying that sometimes I don't do that just for that reason.
Yeah,
like, well, I'll just put a pin in that. I don't want to be the bad guy in the situation. But anyways, back to the leader of the pack memberships. This is one of those deals where it's like every one of these customers, every month, no matter what, they have an order in our system. We see their name. We handle their name. Even if they haven't bought an alpha system with us, you know what I mean, every year, or they don't buy maybe they don't buy our t-shirts, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Right. They don't need an antenna. They don't need anything. So we don't see them for 7 months, 8 months until they need a collar or whatever. Something. This lets us see their name every month. And it's like, you just step out of the fray so that when we see these names, we actually start, and most of them we already knew. We're like, oh, these are already good customers to go with. But but when we go through this list every time, we're like, I look at a name and I look at the name and I'm like, oh, perfect. And so those little things, those are the benefits of this program that I didn't fully understand when we did it. But I can tell you, it has been helpful because we try to write VIP when we see this order come through. Most of the time, if we sort them, our shipping program sorts these guys first, and so we can be like, okay, here's 2. Let's make sure they get their stuff shipped out, and it also just reaffirms that name, that what I mean, because we're shipping hundreds of orders a day. It's easy to lose track of a name or whatever, but when we see the names over and over again every month, it's helpful for us to be like, oh yeah, I know
if it's
who you are.
In the line to get shipped, that name doesn't usually get even looked at. It's what's going in the box, and let's go.
Yeah. So
anyways, production, and you guys.
That's the small pitch on the VIP. If you want to take a trial on it, our goal is to make it worthwhile for you, and you no hard feelings. If you try it and you're like, nope, this isn't for me, but we get it. I go, we're not here to do it. I just want to try, and we make sure that we sit down. We're like, not every month is going to be like, oh, I got a $40 item or whatever. You know what I mean? There's going to be times where there's a raffle and you don't get anything. You know what I mean? You got a chance at winning a collar or a handheld.
Right.
So there's sometimes it's just a chance. You know what I mean? Like you might not get anything at month, but you had a chance at winning a collar. Then there's other times like December where it's like we spent quite a bit to make that December gift and tried to make it really special. And then we've done, like a one time we did a calendar and a $20 gift card. You know what I mean? 1 month. So you got your free calendar and you got a $20 gift card. So that month was free for people, little things like that. We might do a discount code or something like that. So we can just, every month we try and do something different, something creative, and hopefully it pencils out to the right customers. Yeah. So anyways, we can stop talking about that. My mouth is dry. Sudafed makes your mouth go dry. I need to get some water. So Resurgence.
Yeah, go chug some of that. Tell you what, when you're putting that on your feed, people, if you do try it, don't breathe it. That stuff is so fine.
It's like a powder.
Dude, you don't want to dump it above the brim of the food bowl. You want to get that thing down in there and put it on the food because it will blow away in windy conditions like nobody's business.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. It was good chatting with you, Jason. We'll schedule another one for a week or two from now.
No, and I'll be up there. I'll see you in a couple of days. Get some dog food out of your shop.
Perfect.